Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the
MMA Breakdown.
and we're talking about what would happen if Conor McGregor fought the featherweight champion Max Holloway in 2019. We know Conor McGregor does not have a UFC title right now. Is he the biggest star in MMA? Yeah, some people could argue he's the biggest star ever to fight in MMA because he was able to go and fight Floyd Mayweather, the biggest boxer ever. You gotta say, is it a great thing that they put these guys in there? He's a high pedestal fighter. My take on this whole fight, if it happened again, because we know in the first fight in like 2013, Max Holloway got murked. He got beat up. He got out-grappled. He even when Conor was injured, he still beat Max Holloway bell to bell. He won every round. Max held his own, yeah, but he still got whooped. And now that Max is on like a 5-year winning streak or some shit. He's like 11-0 in his last like 11 fights. He's defended his title 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. He's the winningest UFC featherweight right now. Probably the most winningest fighter besides Tony Ferguson and Khabib. The dude is a beast. The dude can do what Nate Diaz does, but in a whole better fashion. He has cardio. He can take a hell of a punch. He has grappling for days. He has really good combinations. He does not gas out, and that's the key. He does not gas. And when you look at Conor McGregor, that guy is known for gassing out in the later rounds. Once you take Conor into the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, the championship rounds, you end up losing significantly. There's no way that I see Conor winning this fight in the later rounds. I'm not saying Conor can't crack him, Conor can't beat him, Conor can't whoop him in the first 2 rounds, but if he had a hell of a hard time fighting Khabib, and Khabib cracked him, and he fell down, and we've never seen Conor get hit like that before. And especially from a guy who is not a high-level striker. Because Khabib is a grappler, not a high-level striker. And he cracked him so hard, the dude stumbled back and everybody was like, oh shit, he hit him hard. And that's what he did. He smashed him. Okay? Some people say it was ring rust. Some people say maybe Conor's losing his skill set because he was out for 2 years. And they always say if you're an elite fighter and you take years off and you try to come back, you're never, ever going to be the same guy again. And what would happen if Conor fights Max Holloway this year, or whoever he fights, and he loses again? Is his stock going to drop even more? Because they'll say he's not murking anybody anymore. He's not the same guy he was anymore. He lost to Floyd Mayweather. He lost to Nate Diaz. He lost to Khabib. And now he lost to Max Holloway. That's 4 losses, okay? And to be honest, the only fight he's won, I think, in the last couple years was against Eddie Alvarez for the lightweight title. That's a long time ago, man. That's a very long time ago for this dude to win a fight. That was 2015, 16, something like that. A long-ass time ago, like I said. But I just think Max Holloway has the skill set to beat him. And Max Holloway's on a 13-fight winning streak. Oh my God, the last time he lost a fight was against Conor McGregor on May 25th, 2013 at UFC 160. Then he goes and beats Chap, don't know who that is. Then he beats Clay Guida, Cole Miller, Cub Swanson, Charles Oliveira, Jeremy Stevens, Anthony Pettis, Jose Aldo twice, and beaten Brian Ortega. And he's just dominating these dudes. But he's on a 13-fight winning streak, and he's 20-3. And if you look at Conor McGregor's record, he's been in some pretty badass fights. But his MMA record is as follows: 21-4. Okay, and he lost to Khabib, beat Eddie Alvarez, beat Nate Diaz, and then lost to Nate Diaz. So in the last couple years, he went 2-2 in MMA. So he's basically 500. And before that, he was on a massive win streak. And he lost to Nate Diaz, then he lost to Khabib. So between March 5th, 2016, and then his next fight was in August of 2016. He redeemed his loss. Then you got to look at it this way. He hasn't fought since November 12th, 2016, and his next fight was August 6th, 2018. So almost over 2 years, this dude has not fought in a fight. And when you look at Max Holloway, this dude's been on a tear. You know, UFC 231, UFC 218, UFC 212, UFC 206, 199, 194. You know, the list goes on and on and on and on. And this guy has so good of skill set. He has 10 KOs, 2 submission victories, and 8 by going to the judges' scorecard. So 50% of his fights are won just by completely knocking out his opponent. But I just believe the grappling, the technique of Max Holloway is where it's at nowadays, you know. I just think Conor McGregor, out of these two fighters, Conor McGregor has not improved as much as Max Holloway has. Max Holloway has one thing that Conor doesn't have, and that's a gas tank. And you guys might be arguing, well, he can win, he can go 5 rounds. Not when someone pressures the action like he did. Not when someone can pressure the action like Nate Diaz or Jose Aldo or somebody like a Max Holloway. They can pressure the action and they can go all 5 rounds. Max Holloway is a better version of Nate and Nick Diaz. He has cardio for days. He can take a hell of a punch. He has grappling, kicks, knees, elbows. And when you look at Conor, he has knees, kicks, elbows. His grappling is mediocre. It's good grappling against low-level grapplers. Like an average grappler, he can take down. He can beat him up. A guy who doesn't grapple like, let's just say, somebody who doesn't really grapple that often, he could take them down and beat them down and wear on them because they're not good with the grappling. Okay? Somebody like a Khabib that can take you down and wear you down, he can't hang with that. He's not able to do that. It's something in his workouts. His cardio is okay for the first couple rounds, and I think it's because he throws every shot to knock you out. And people like Nate Diaz, Max Holloway, they throw like pitter-patter punches, basically like 40-50% behind their shots, and they can throw 300 punches in a fight and not gas out. Same thing with Cowboy Donald Cerrone. He has the ability to beat Conor McGregor just because he has the good skill set, the great grappling, and he has great cardio. But I think the way the fight would go, it would probably go 3 rounds to 2. I would say Conor would win the first 2 rounds, and then Max would pick up the speed and beat him. I'm not saying Max would win the fight. I'm saying it's probably like a 70-30. I would say he'd win 70% of the time and lose 30%. So I'm saying just because Conor's lost like his last couple fights doesn't mean he's still trash. Doesn't mean he's not great. I just believe he has not improved where he needs to improve, and that is the cardio game. So if you guys would want to see this fight, let me know with a comment down below. And let me know if you think my analyst is really legit, if I'm really on point, or if you guys think there's no way Max Holloway would win. Like I said, Max Holloway's on a 13-fight winning streak. Max Holloway should go to 155, but he's dominating the 145-pound division. And you got Tony Ferguson. That would be a hell of a fight. Tony Ferguson versus Max Holloway. I wouldn't know who to call in that. You know, they both come forward. They both are hungry. I think Tony is a little bit diverse, a little bit more unique. But we'll get into a video, Max versus Tony, coming very soon. But my name is Trevor. Thanks for stopping by and enjoying this MMA breakdown.